Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Laode Alisaid, and my student ID is A1M224050. Today, I will be presenting on the topic of story in EFL classroom. We will discuss how stories can be an effective tool in English language learning. A story is a sequence of events that are put together to form a narrative. This narrative can be fictional or non-fictional. Stories have several important elements, including characters, the people or beings in the story; setting, the time and place where the story takes place; plot, the sequence of events in the story; theme, the underlying message or meaning of the story; the purpose of a story; entertainment, to provide enjoyment for the reader or listener; information, to convey knowledge or facts; education, to teach moral values or ethics. Examples of stories: fiction, novels, fairy tales, short stories; non-fiction, biographies, news reports, personal experiences. In short, a story is a way for us to share experiences, imagination, and knowledge with others. His name is Isrul. He is very grateful to have been born into a well-off family. His parents are more than capable of providing for his schooling. Strangely, he can't seem to enjoy the ease of going to school. The village head and teachers in Isrul's village have always tried to change the mindset of the villagers. When there are educational outreach programs, most parents only listen and then return to their busy lives, tending to their rice fields, gardens, cattle, and various other livelihoods. One of them is Isrul's father. For him, school is just a passing phase. Reading books is a waste of time. To his son, he always emphasizes that helping his parents is the most important thing. Therefore, as soon as Isrul gets home from school, he takes care of the cows. He enjoys taking care of animals, but this activity takes up a lot of his time. He has to check the grass and remove foreign objects like twigs or plastic that might get mixed in. After that, he chops it into pieces about 10 centimeters long. When the cows were still young, the grass pieces were even smaller. The large scythe he used had to be sharpened first to ensure a quick chopping process. Isrul wanted to finish his task quickly. As Isrul chopped the grass, the two waiting cows mooed impatiently. "Wait a minute, I'm hungry too, just like you. You're lucky, you just have to eat. After this, I still have to go to the fields to guard the rice from birds," Isrul replied to his cows. 4 large buckets were prepared, 2 for grass and 2 for drinking water. Isrul scooped up the chopped grass and dumped it into the bucket. The cows greeted him with joy. The next bucket was filled with warm water mixed with a little salt for the cows to drink. While wiping his sweat, Isrul stared at his pets. Whatever it was, he had a responsibility to help his parents. He would discuss his school matters with his father later that night, no matter the risk. He was determined to continue his studies in the district town. Perhaps the problem Isrul was experiencing was also experienced by children his age in this country. He lived in a remote village, far from the hustle and bustle of the city, with very strong traditions. Many people had high incomes from farming and livestock, but almost all the parents in his village had never sat in a school bench, including his father and mother. "There used to be no school in this village," Isrul's father replied when asked why many villagers didn't go to school. When Isrul was curious and tried to ask further, his father immediately raised his voice. "That's enough. Don't talk too much. It's very disrespectful. What do you know about the old days? Who will help father take care of the garden if you keep going to school?" Hearing such a sentence, Isrul was once again forced to be silent. If not, his father would be offended, and there would be no one who could calm his anger for days. Isrul respected his father very much, and there were no other words that came out of his vocal cords except yes. It has been a tradition in his village that all parental words are absolute, and opposing parents is taboo. So, while other children were hindered from continuing their studies because there was no money, Isrul and the children in his village had to struggle to convince their parents that school was important. This struggle was not easy, because if a child said the wrong thing, he would be considered to be opposing his parents. Once again, opposing parents is taboo. Among the golden rice fields, Isrul hoped for a spark of light. He wanted to find a way to get out of that problem. Isrul wanted to be able to go to school until he was high, if necessary, as high as the sky. He wanted to be the smart figures whose names were listed in school library books. He wanted to develop his village someday. After you reading and listening to the story now is the exercise time. Listen and answer the exercise carefully. 1. What challenges does Isrul face in pursuing his education? And how do these challenges reflect the attitudes of his community towards schooling? 2. How does Isrul's relationship with his father influence his perspective on education? Provide specific examples from the text to support your answer. 3. Identify and discuss the significance of the phrase, menentang orang tua adalah tabu. How does this cultural belief affect Isrul's actions and decisions? 4. In what ways does Isrul demonstrate responsibility throughout the story? Provide examples that highlight his character and his obligations to his family. 5. What aspirations does Isrul have for his future, and how do they contrast with the expectations placed upon him by his family and community? Discuss the implications of these aspirations in the context of his environment. Conclusion. Short and concise. In conclusion, stories offer a dynamic and engaging approach to language learning. By incorporating narratives into EFL classrooms, we can foster a love of reading, enhance language skills, and create a more enjoyable and meaningful learning experience for students. Emphasizing benefits. To summarize, the use of stories in the EFL classroom provides numerous benefits, including improved vocabulary acquisition, enhanced reading comprehension, increased fluency in speaking and writing, and the development of critical thinking and cultural awareness. By effectively integrating stories into our teaching methodologies, we can create a more engaging and effective learning environment for our students. Looking ahead, in conclusion, stories have the potential to transform the EFL classroom into a vibrant and engaging space for learning. By exploring diverse narratives and encouraging creative expression, we can empower our students to become confident and proficient communicators. I encourage you to explore the power of stories in your own teaching practices and witness the positive impact they can have on your students' language development. Call to action. In closing, I believe that incorporating stories into EFL instruction is crucial for creating a dynamic and effective learning environment. I urge educators to embrace the power of narratives and explore innovative ways to integrate them into their teaching methodologies. Let's inspire a love of language and learning through the captivating world of stories. Remember to adjust these conclusions to fit the specific focus of your presentation. For example, if your presentation focused on using folktales in EFL, you can adjust the conclusion to reflect that. Maintain a confident and enthusiastic tone to leave a positive impression on your audience. Use clear and concise language to effectively summarize your key points. In other words, friends, stories are the key to opening the door to a wider world of English. As the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. A story can convey thousands of meanings. Let's make stories a bridge for students to achieve higher levels of English proficiency. That's all from me, Laode Alisaid, with student ID A1M224050. Bye-bye. See you next time.